Hello and welcome back to Fire Emblem Last Promise 0% Growth Slow Turn Count Playthrough version 2. This video will be tackling chapters 2 and 3. Right off the bat, this chapter has the first side objective that matters. This chapter contains the Emblem Lance, which is one of the emblem weapons that I mentioned must be picked up. It also contains a village, but that doesn't really matter as a side objective. This chapter is also the first instance of multiple turns being saved. It's just 2 in this case, but it's still worth mentioning. We're much more aggressive with our positioning compared to the last version, and we end up getting the Javelin on Siegfried. He doesn't end up using it, he just needs to use his Iron Sword, but having it on him means Corbin can take it back later. We get to meet this third of 4 lords on this chapter. His name is Kellic. All he does in this chapter is putz around and kill a couple brigands and an archer, but he does distract some enemies, which is at the very least helpful. We wish he would be able to join us this early, but unfortunately he doesn't. He'd be a fantastic unit during the first 10 chapters, but unfortunately, the game decided that wouldn't be perfectly fair. To get the Emblem Lance, there is a house that Corbin specifically must visit. If Sean visits it, he gets the second copy of the Piercing Sword. If Siegfried visits it, I believe he gets an elixir. I've never done that, actually. If Kamiko visits it, she gets the one and only obtainable movement staff in the game, being a rescue staff, that she can't use. You might have mentioned that I have noticed that I haven't mentioned Kamiko yet. She is a level 2 cleric with E-rank staves. Her stats are terrible. She will barely reach D-rank staves, and she will fade into obscurity. Sean does not need to kill any of the enemies that go for him, but a lot of the enemies that do go for him were either weakened by Siegfried or Corbin, and they go for him because he's the frailest unit we have that they can reach. Any kill he picks up is great for his experience gain, but it does mean he weakens his Piercing Sword's durability quite a bit. If you remember from the last chapter, Sean was able to deal 7 damage to a brigand with a javelin, and these brigands have the same defensive stats. We do need that path to the throne cleared. And thankfully, Siegfried is able to chip the brigand above him into exactly 8 HP. What that means is that Corbin is able to swoop in with the javelin and thankfully pick off that enemy. Otherwise, we'd have to crit. As you might have noticed, Sean is within 7 tiles of reaching the boss, and Siegfried is within cease distance. We saved 2 turns off the previous chapter by previous clear just by killing the boss a turn sooner. And in 1 round of combat. And we don't even need a gross crit rate for it this time. We just need Sean to dodge a fairly reasonable to dodge 45% hit. With this, Siegfried is able to seize the throne after Kamiko visits the village, picking up a javelin. Siegfried actually obtains, after he seizes the throne, his personal weapon, the New Thong. For all intents and purposes, it is effectively a silver sword that has effectiveness against mages. Just 2x effectiveness, but it is still hilariously strong. It's going to become his primary beat stick at 1 range when he doesn't need to crit, and when he doesn't need 1-2 range. Up next is going to be Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is also a turn shorter compared to the previous playthrough. Would you look at that? It's 4 chapters in, and we've managed to save 5 chapters in, we've managed to save turns in every single one of them. Chapter 3 introduces us to another 2 new units. One of them is Inanna. All she matters for is being a flyer in this mode. Past this point, her stats are pretty bad. She's barely able to do combat in Siegfried mode, so after that, when Anakin mode comes around, and we have not only multiple flyers, but flyers that join her with better stats than her, significantly better stats than her, she stops being deployed pretty much all the time, unless we need a 3rd flyer, or a 4th string flyer. Thankfully, the fact that she flies is really useful in this chapter. We also get Shuda. Shuda is a level 4 mercenary with really high stats for this point in the game. He has the same strength as Siegfried, but he's 2 points of speed faster. He also has slightly higher skill, he just doesn't have the S-rank swords, and he's slightly bulkier than units like Sean. As a result, because he actually can promote with a hero crest later on and do things, he's the first long-term project we have. Even more long-term than Sean, because Sean only needs to hit rank 10, or level 10, and C-rank swords, and Shuda needs to get as much sword rank and as much experience as he can. As a result, we have him one-round as many enemies as he can, which is actually quite a few because his stats, as I mentioned already, are pretty good. On turn 1, we had Sean use the Emblem Lance after Corbin weakened his mercenary with Javelin, and that lets Sean have the Emblem Lance. He equips that and keeps it equipped so he's able to start weakening that Armored Knight, and so he can kill the soldier without burning through the Piercing Sword completely, because he still needs it. It's also just his most accurate weapon against the soldier. And he showboats with that 3% crit. Tomiko's main use is actually, hilariously, helping keep Shuda alive. As you can see, he has 6 defense, which is actually more defense than Sean, so he has the same bulk as Corbin. He ends up getting a few stat boosters throughout Siegfried mode, mostly the defensive ones. This is because he does end up promoting. His promotion doesn't particularly matter in the long run, but I like using him. We have a couple of promotion items that we can use, and there's no real better recipients of the stat boosters he ends up using, because he just has the best combat in this mode. It allows him to still be able to contribute as a 6-move infantry, even when his stats are not the greatest, and his sword rank being so high means that he's able to break out the early Silver Sword that you get in Anakin mode, and still be able to use it to kill enemies, or significantly weaken enemies that we otherwise have no real ways of dealing with. The boss, as I'm sure you've noticed by now, is a Cavalier. Unlike Corbin, well, actually, specifically like Corbin, he has a sword equipped. What that means is, of course, Sean's accuracy is decent enough, and he has enough damage to kill with a crit. Thank you for watching Chapters 2 and 3. They were cleared in 3 turns. And 4 turns, respectively. Sean has reached level 7. It's hilarious how much experience he's gotten now. It's worth mentioning that there actually is something that is worth talking about on this chapter. There's a cliff on the bottom of the screen that isn't going to be shown, that Inanna can go pick up. That item is an Elysian Whip. She's not going to promote, so there's no reason to grab it, especially because money doesn't matter in Siegfried mode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for Chapter 4.